Hello, I'm Martin Müller, and I'm Professor of Geography at the University of Zurich in Switzerland. Hosting Green Olympics is no longer an option for Olympic Games organizers. It is expected by the IC, by the sponsors, and by the general public. So that's why you'll find in almost every bid book very extensive commitments to hosting Green Games. And at least since the Vancouver Games of 2010, Green Games not only means the environment, but it also includes social and economic aspects. So it's more about sustainability. If you look now at the Olympic Games in Sochi, the organizers there promised a very extensive sustainability program, trying to emulate and even outdo Vancouver. And this idea of outdoing is very much with the spirit of Olympic Games organizers, the spirit of one-upmanship, where you try to do just a little better than the previous Games organizers. So what was it that Sochi promised? They promised a lot of things, such as comprehensive environmental assessments, zero-waste games, carbon-neutral games where they were going to offset the carbon emissions from the games and the games preparation phase, a sustainable procurement system under which inputs for preparing for the games were going to be procured under sustainability criteria, and extensive engagement with the public and enhancement of natural habitats. So unfortunately, if you look at the results, most of these goals proved way too ambitious to be realized. In fact, what the Sochi Games ended up with was very extensive environmental damage through the large-scale construction activity, part of which took place in protected areas, the displacement of people, and the large-scale damage to the natural environment. The biggest achievement that is now being proclaimed by Games organizers is the restoration of the ecology of a mountain river, which was to a large degree destroyed in the construction process. So we're no longer talking about enhancing something, but we're actually talking about trying to limit the damage that has already been done. NGOs such as WWF and Greenpeace even withdrew from negotiations with the organizers after their demands were not taken into account. And organizations such as UNEP is the United Nations Environmental Programme, are also not providing the oversight that they are supposed to provide for the environmental aspect of the Olympic Games. So why then did the sustainability agenda fail far short of its aims? Well, for one thing, we need to see that it was overambitious. It was attempting to do too much in way too little time. For another, it was also not made a high-level priority either in the organizing committee or in the political system in Russia. So when they were trying to finish a massive construction program in time for the Olympic Games, sustainability, which was not a core business, was pushed to the side. And then also oversight mechanisms for environmental compliance in Russia are relatively weak, and they were even further weakened through targeted legislation, for example, legislation that made it easier to build sports venues in national parks. So unless sustainability measures had the highest political backing, they simply did not happen. So there's really a complex host of reasons why sustainability went largely wrong in Sochi. And what is frustrating is the fact that the organizers are still selling the games as Green Games. And by doing so, they hollow out the credibility of these and of future games to deliver on the promises made. If you want to know more about this, you can have a look at my article on this topic in the journal European Urban and Regional Studies. It has the title Immobile Policies, Why Sustainability Went Wrong at the Sochi 2014 Olympics. Thanks for listening.